The Camping World Series, he grimaces.
You know, it's much like the Busch Series. It's all it ever was prior to Nationwide coming on board. So that was really a tough conversion to make. And when we went from Winston Cup to Nextel Cup, I mean, Winston had been around just about our whole lifetimes. So it's a tough transition to make. But we're awfully glad to have Camping World on board.
Definitely.
Like you, Phil, I was around when it was NASCAR Grand National. Then we had to get used to Winston Cup. And so those days, this happens. But
we saw Stacy Compton come off the racetrack. One lap for Stacy, 51.313, fourth quickest of the four trucks. And now it is Mike Bliss's turn on the clock as he goes across the start-finish line.
Now, Mike had a little bit of trouble drafting yesterday. Decided he was going to give a push to someone,
Ricky Carmichael, and that didn't work out so well.
And he wound up in the infield. Hey, Ray.
Well, guys, when Mike Bliss and Ricky Carmichael got into that deal, the real loser on that deal was Brian Scott. Unfortunately, your guys worked really hard to get that truck together. I think instead of calling Jimmy Spencer Mr. Excitement, we got to start calling you that. Every time you were on the track today, there was something going on around you.
I know it seems like I'm always in the wrong spot at the wrong time, both in the ARCA race and in the truck practices and stuff so far this weekend. But I can't say enough about our Albertsons Toyota Tundra crew, the Express Motorsports guys. You know, they got in the garage earlier this morning. They've already been working for 12 hours, and they're still excited. They're still amped. They still think we have a great truck, and we do. They put it together good as new, and I'm excited to go out there and, you know, hopefully turn a good qualifying lap and definitely get ready for the race tomorrow.
All right, we're fired up about it, too. Go jump in at number 16. Let's go to the other end and hear from Double A.
5 trucks have taken speed. The quickest of those, Colin Brown.
Yet, so we got one ordered, and hopefully it'll be in a couple of weeks. But just glad to be out here. Want to thank the folks over at Zachary in San Antonio, Texas, for giving us the opportunity. And just looking forward to getting the year kicked off. The fans are going to see an exciting race tomorrow night like they always do every year. Hopefully we can put this Zachary Toyota Tundra up front. And like I said, it felt really good in practice, and looking forward to the race tomorrow.
All right, good luck to you. David Starr in a new number 24 for the HT Motorsports Group. Now let's check in with the Youngin, who's at the other end of the pit road with Double A.
He is on a 3-race win streak at the big tracks, Talladega, Daytona, and Talladega. So going for 4 in a row tomorrow night. What do you think of the qualifying run?
I don't know. It is what it is. You know, we don't make qualifying runs in practice, so we didn't really know what we had. But it is what it is. The Tundra's pretty good. Drives really good in the draft. Very stable. I'm watching these guys around me, and their trucks are all bouncing around, and they're in there fighting the wheel, and man, my truck's just smooth as could be, so I'm really looking forward to it. It is the same truck that we won all 3 races with, so hopefully it'll get us victory lane again.
Good luck.
Thank you.
When did they start saying that? It is what it is. You know, when they started saying that, and at the end of the day, they started saying some things that kind of get on my nerves. Not just people.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yeah. we don't know who they are.
We've looked for them.
Hey, I'll tell you what. It is what it is.
But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
It is what it is. James Busher ran the high line around the racetrack for his first lap, 51.918. We would expect a pretty big pickup here for him.
You know what else they say? I'm going to reach out to her. Like, you're going to call someone. You know, just say call them. I'll reach out. I'll reach out to you.
Get in touch with him. Yeah, reach out and get in touch with him.
There's a lot of things they're saying these days.
They are saying. Here comes James Busher for the conclusion of his qualifying run. He was 7th quickest on lap number 1. He moves up to 6th quickest, 51.492 on lap number 2.
They say that was a pretty good pickup.
I would say you said that was a pretty good pickup.
That was the biggest one so far. Biggest pickup by anybody so far.
Almost, well, a little over 0.4 of a second pickup for James Busher. Chad McCumbee waiting to climb into his race truck and get out there for his qualifying effort. Qualifying continues on speed next.
On flat, I'll tell you that, bud.
He's talking.
Definitely down.
He's talking about the attitude. He said it was really flat, and that's what he was looking at is that splitter up off the racetrack, or down to the racetrack actually, without touching. And I don't think it was a splitter hitting. It was more of some of the maybe exhaust pipes or maybe cross member, something like that hitting.
Now on the racetrack, J.R. Fitzpatrick, the 20-year-old out of Canada.
This kid will be fun to watch tomorrow night, Phil. Very enthusiastic, very confident about how his evening will go tomorrow. We talked to him a couple times in practice, and he sounded like he felt like he could win the race, which is really important to have that type of confidence. He's got a good truck, so J.R. Fitzpatrick might be a guy to watch tomorrow night.
This is a real good team. Butch Hilton leads this team here. TRG Motorsports. They really have some a great assist from Kevin Harvick racing too. Kevin Harvick does a lot of work in the bodies and aerodynamic work with his team, and they really had a great last third of the season last year with TJ Bell.
Adam Alexander, I believe you've caught up with Ricky Carmichael.
3 practice sessions for this guy, 1 qualifying run. So is the progression coming like you had hoped?
Yeah, it is. You know, this place is a beast. There's no doubt. And I've had a lot of fun and learned a lot. You know, I still think I got a long way to go. But, man, I just want to come out here and gain respect and from these guys and do the best that I can.
How much are you evaluating yourself after each time on track, and what can you do to improve with such limited track time?
Yeah, I'm pretty hard on myself, and it is tough with the limited track time, like you said. Just trying to better myself and not make the same mistake twice. That goes a long way for me. I've always been taught that, and just to give it 100%.
Have fun tomorrow night.
Will do. Thanks.
Ricky Carmichael, 4/100ths of a second off of his teammate Ron Hornaday. Those two are 4th and 5th right now. Hornaday 4th, Ricky Carmichael 5th. We see J.R. Fitzpatrick cruising back toward the garage area. He's currently 10th in his qualifying effort, 51.568, and he shuts it down after 1 lap.
And I think he can. I mean, that truck could win the race.
Right. It's handling well. Ray Dunlap.
Guys, it is amazing how many of the deals have come together at the very last second in all 3 of NASCAR's top divisions this year, but maybe none more so than this one. Chase Austin, welcome Camping World Trucks, but boy, you guys just got Trail Motorsports up and running.
It's actually not even Trail Motorsports. They just kind of came up with the fun so we can go with the MRD to Daytona and California for the time being. But I'm glad I got the opportunity. It's a great team I'm with right now.
How do you like Daytona?
It was a lot different renting an ARCA car. It's actually a lot scarier, a lot harder to drive in a truck.
All right, well, we hope it goes well for you guys. The team is 32, and it'll be interesting to see how these first couple of weeks go. Griffin Masonry, the sponsorship on this truck. Adam?
Ray, Brian Scott currently 8th on the board, and the guys upstairs said you were bottoming out a bit on your run. Any concern there, Brian?
Not really. We went out on the same tire pressures that we started practice with, and it was the same thing. You know, in the draft, we'd go out in the first couple laps, bottom out a little bit, and as pressures and everything built up, speed built up a little bit, it seemed like we were able to not bottom out as much. So it wasn't any concern. I figured we were going to, and you know, we didn't spend any time on mock qualifying runs or anything like that for this Albertsons Toyota truck. We just really focused on drafting and getting it comfortable. So I'm happy with it. I think it'll be good. Maybe we'll hold on to the top 10, maybe top 15 probably, and I think everybody will be in for a really great race come Friday night, NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. When the green flag falls, everybody knows this race is exciting, and I'm excited for it.
Plenty of adversity for this team over the course of the week. An incident in practice yesterday changed a radiator earlier today, but Brian Scott ready to go tomorrow night.
You know, Rick, Michael, the good news is I don't think anything else can happen to Brian Scott because that truck will be impounded.
Yeah, it's impounded now.
Unless somebody driving along in a wrecker or something runs into it, I think he's going to be okay and be able to start this race.
Chad McCumbee now on his qualifying effort. 51.982 the first lap, 51.969 the second lap. So just a very slight pickup on lap number 2 for Chad McCumbee. Slots him 13th quickest of the 15 that have been on the track.
Man, no one's had anything for Colin Brown, have they?
Not even close. I mean, he's really kind of set the pace, obviously. 0.4 of a second between him and second, Matt Crafton.
Like
we talked about
as low a line as anyone, so I don't know where all that speed went.
Bobby Dotter.
Yeah, that was Bobby Dotter talking to Chad. Bobby's
we're not particularly fast by ourselves, but the Blue Frog truck drafts awesome. I was really happy in the crowd, so I'm looking forward. I'm not really looking forward to qualifying, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow night.
We don't know for sure, guys, if they're fast enough, but we know they got one of the best looking paint schemes down here in the garage, and Larry's suit and everything. I mean, they are looking good. I don't know if they'll be fast, but they look good.
That's a team owned by Derek Cope, former 1990, I believe, Daytona 500 winner.
And then a couple of months later, went up to Dover, Delaware, and won again. Won again. Second race for Derek. Now he dabbles in truck and nationwide,
and also,
owning some cars,
and also the Cup Series
every now and then.
Yeah.
So he's all in. That's
a good-looking truck, Rick Crawford. We were used to seeing that truck blue last year, but there's a lot more of that. I don't know if that's orange or competition red. It may be maybe competition red. I don't know what they may call that color, but good looking truck for Tom Mitchell's team.
Yeah.
51.638, 174.290, lap number 1 for Rick Crawford.
Now, if he could pick up about a 1/10 of a second, he could gain 3 or 4 spots, Phil.
Yeah, there's a clump of trucks right there in the 50s. So if he could run a low 50 right now, then that would put him all the way up probably to the 10th spot, and he would be right behind his teammate James Busher, who currently is 9th.
Rick Crawford, one of the drivers in the field that could say they have won a truck race on this racetrack. The first one that Speed covered in 2003. Rick Crawford, 3 wide finish, came across that line right there in front of the pack.
Got it into the mid-50s and picked up 3 spots. He's up to 11th, just ahead of Shane Sieg and right behind J.R. Fitzpatrick. So starting from the middle of the field, it looks like.
16 have been on the racetrack. Rick Crawford.
You got a fast truck, I think you run the bottom.
And this is one guy right down here that Ray, I think, is caught up with or going to talk to, that really he stands a chance of maybe not making this race if both he and Johnny Benson have trouble. Isn't that right, Ray?
Absolutely, Phil, and it's so odd for us to come back to this part of the qualifying and say go or go homer. Mike Skinner, what in the world is that all about?
It's all good, Ray. We'll be all right. We're just gonna go out here and see what this X-Side Tundra will do. I think the air's got a little heavy. I think the racetrack slowed down a little bit, but you know, this is one place that don't matter where you start.
That's absolutely true, but you got to get in the race. So we'll keep our eye on this X-Side number 5. Mike Skinner with a brand new team here racing for Randy Moss Motorsports.
The thing about a lot of people would go, well, Mike's a past champion, so he's got that to fall back on. Well, Johnny Benson is the most recent past champion, and Johnny Benson is also in the group of go or go homers, has to qualify on time because he's with a new team this year.
That's right, and Johnny could trump Mike Skinner, but we know that that's a great race team, Randy Moss Motorsports, and we know unless something really crazy happens that Mike Skinner is going to comfortably qualify his way into this field, and he's right. To come tomorrow night, he's got an excellent chance to win this race.
Yeah, that means that there's a good chance a go or go homer, somebody out of this group of 18 trucks can win this race tomorrow night. Johnny Benson obviously feels like he'll have a shot to do that as well.
Terry Cook is another one of the go or go homers that has to qualify his way in on time.
Norm Benning quite a bit off the pace, 55 seconds on his first lap. That is the slowest of the 22 that have been on the racetrack, so Norm Benning's going to have to pick it up if he wants to race tomorrow in the Camping World Truck Series.
That's something else that they say these days. It's all good. That doesn't really bother me that bad, though.
Yeah.
You know, that's something they just say.
Yeah.
It's all good. Do you ever hear that?
Yeah. You've been thinking about this quite some time, haven't you? Things that annoy you.
I've got them written down over in the corner here.
Well, Norm Benning was out on the racetrack earlier in one of the Gatorade Duel, and now trying to be a part of the Camping World Truck Series race tomorrow night.
I don't think it's going to work for Norm here in this qualifying session. His truck is well off the pace, and he'll need for some trucks to have some trouble in order to think he can get that truck in the race. I talked to Norm a couple times. Oh, he just likes to drive. He likes getting out there and driving. What's wrong with that?
He had a top 10 finish Saturday in the ARCA race. Great job by Norm and his guys, finishing in the 10th position.
Not much of a pickup on lap number.
Work that the firemen do all across this country. Adam?
There is little doubt, Ray, that Mike Skinner is a good qualifier at Daytona. In his first 2 Cup starts here, you were on the pole both times. 5th tonight. How confident are you in your new team?
Man, I am so fired up about this Randy Moss Motorsports Toyota Tundra. X-Side Batteries is on the truck this week, and I'm going to tell you something. These guys in 2 weeks have put a heck of an effort together, and I just can't wait to see what they're going to do when we get them enough time to build some trucks. So that was a little better than I expected to be. I think the racetrack has lost a little bit, but you know, with the air getting a little heavy, but I'm pumped, man. I can't wait for the green flag to start. It's going to be good.
And I understand the boss will be here tomorrow night.
Well, I certainly hope so.
Maybe if you win, you can jump off the truck and he can catch you, because that's what he does. He catches things, you know?
He could throw me over the truck. I don't know. I'm pretty big, pretty heavy. Not big, heavy. But hopefully we're going to have a lot of fun this year with this group. And these guys are racers, and you know, we are very, very blessed to have everything that happened to us and land with a group that can put us in stuff this competitive.
Good luck tomorrow, Mike.
Thanks.
When Adam mentioned boss, I thought he was talking about Angie.
And I saw her earlier today, so she's here.
Yeah, I know she's here. 44 truck of Lance Hooper, 41-year-old out of Palmdale, California, in his qualifying effort. He is locked in. Lance Hooper, 25th quickest on lap number 1, 52.324.
Larry Foyt, Norm Benning, and Wayne Edwards are still looking for somebody to beat, Phil.
Well, they sure are. That's a second truck out of the Curtis Key stables. That's a teammate to Mike Bliss, who's driving the 40 truck.
We're hearing the 89 of Mark Mitchell is on the 5-minute clock, so we hope.
The guy's done a tremendous job. We made a lot of gains from yesterday to today, and our mock-up run today in extremely clean air. I mean, we ran a 1.5, which would put us on top 8 or something, but half second slower, so we'll see what happens. But I think for the racer, we drafted well. I could run on the track in the places I'd like to run, and it wasn't out of control too bad. So we'll have to wait and see.
You're in a new truck, but not the only one. So with all the different colors and different faces in different places, how challenging is that when you get out in the draft?
It's challenges just get through tech, because I'm at the wrong end of the thing. I kept asking Landis, how come I don't get Ron's spot? Because he's in my spot. But anyways, we've been laughing about that all weekend. But outside that, it's, we're in a just different spot. It makes it a little tough to get through the tech stuff. But outside that, everything's the same. So Trip Bruce, who was with us last year, is doing this deal. Real happy with that, with Red Horse Racing. So got K&N filters on for this weekend, and we'll see what it's going to do. But I think all in all, it'll race well.
Good luck tomorrow night, champ.
All right, thanks.
Brent Raymer in his qualifying run, 22nd quickest, locks himself in 51.767 on lap number 1.
Larry Foyt still looking to be locked into the race, Phil.
Yeah, still hasn't quite done it yet. Norm Benning also. Norm right now is the slowest truck that we have had qualify. Britton Raymer comfortably in right behind Johnny Benson right now on lap number 1. See if he can leapfrog Johnny. He does. Actually switches places with Johnny. Moves Brent up to 21st. Brent up to 20th. Johnny up to 21st.
Good.
No, so now it's getting down to where he's thinking, well, darn, that's 4 pretty good trucks.
It's not going to be a gimme, that's for sure.
Earlier in the broadcast, they said that they thought he might make this field.
Yeah.
Did they say that?
They did.
They said it's all good, and then I thought, well, maybe it's not. It's a little early to tell. Too early to tell.
It's Andy Lally on the racetrack now, and that number 28.
Andy's used to turning left at just after the start-finish line here. So much success in road racing here at Daytona.
Some of the guys from the FDNY.
See those guys cheering him on. Andy takes the green flag. Saw Andy out there running in some drafting practice earlier today. The truck really looked pretty good out there in traffic, but sometimes that's not indicative of what this truck will run by itself. You see it bottom out a little bit over there in one of the bigger bumps over there in 1 and 2.
Yeah, in final practice today, Andy was 15th quick, so he was very competitive, but a little tense right now, seeing the way the truck's bottoming out on the ground. Does it have the speed to get up there and outrun Larry Foyt? That's the question right now. He needs to run a little bit better than 52.82 seconds.
I believe it's going to be good enough. That truck looks good enough to me. I think that's going to be fast enough to beat Larry Foyt and bump his way into this field.
We're going to find out right now as he goes across the start-finish line. Lap number 1 for Andy Lally, 52.946. He's going to
shut it down.
Shut it down. Yeah, shut it down. It may have been too hot, but right now that will lock Larry Foyt into this field.
That does.
He had to feel good about it, didn't he, Rick, when he went?
And, it was awesome. The Super Bowl was great. Casey Kane took us down there on his plane. Thank you for that, Casey. And a buddy of mine had a couple tickets. He's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Sure." And it was a blast. I mean, doing that's a once in a lifetime opportunity. But being here at Daytona in the top 10, that's what it's all about, right?
I'll tell you what, a win here might be even better than the Super Bowl. How about the gunbroker.com truck and 8th on the board in qualifying? That's pretty cool.
Ray became a Steelers fan when they beat the Ravens, I believe, and we're actually in the Super Bowl.
Whichever way the wind blew.
I've never seen him wear any Steelers gear until they made it into the Super Bowl, and boom, he was wearing a hat the next day.
What about that? That was a great game, huh?
Oh, man. Phenomenal.
Macy and I were watching it, and Macy said, "What just happened, Dad?" Best game ever, honey.
Hey, Rick.
Ray, go ahead.
I have Pittsburgh Steelers underwear that's older than you. I can tell you that.
Way too much information.
I got one for the thumb shirts. I've got Franco Harris stuff. So you got to come over to my house a little more.
We've seen some of your Ohio State gear too.
Yeah, your John Havlicek jersey.
We know that's older than me too.
For 30 years, Ohio State. Detroit Red Wings, Pittsburgh Steelers. It's all right there in my little quadrant.
He wants you to. He referred to his underwear and wants you to come over to his house.
That's enough of that story.
Any part of what's going on here.
How about Jason White? He did a good job, huh?
He did a great job. J.C. Stout, 36 quickest. He's got to pick it up.
Oh, just about, man, about a tenth of a second to get in front of Andy Lally, and that'll get him in the show. So this a nail-biting time right here for Andy Lally for sure.
J.C. Stout trying to get into the show for tomorrow night. The steam coming out of the overflow at the base of the windshield. Will he pick it up on this final 100 yards? He gets in front of Andy Lally.
That's huge.
Wow. He is in the show.